GSL.
Alright guys, we are back. And it's time for our third match of the night, which is going to be Shine versus Ace. Before that, you can check out our results. This means that Yoda advances over Oz 2-0 and will go on to face Supernova, another current teamless player.
In a Terran versus Terran. And now we have a Protoss versus Zerg. As Wolf just pointed out, we have Shine against Ace. And this is probably the match that I've been looking forward to the most in this afternoon group. Just because the two players that we see here. Shine is a great Zerg player. He's starting for the TSL team. And they've been showcasing the Zerg style for quite a while though. But on the other hand, there is the StarCraft player. Ace has been showing a PvZ that was actually just incredible. The last game, one of the last games that he played was when he defeated Boom Boom in the up and downs. Yeah, it was the up and downs, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it was just amazing to see. He played so well. We've seen everything. Warp Prism, so many of them.
Zealot attacks, multiple...
Exactly. DT drops.
We're not talking about we're not talking about like one Warp Prism warps in some Zealots and kills the Greater Spire. We're talking about Warp Prisms everywhere with Storm drops, and after the Templar dead makes Archons drops Archons while doing Zealot drops with multiple locations at once, spending all of his resources incredibly well. Playing one of the best late game Protoss versus Zergs I've ever seen.
It was so awesome to watch it, and I want to know what exactly Ace is up to today. He definitely has a plan up his sleeves, and there he is already with a smirk on his face, and he is so ready. He's the king of celebrations, and we will find out if he has a strategy for the day. If he wins, we will also find out if he has a celebration that he's planned on. He stated at some point that he wants to lay a little bit low with him.
Yeah, he did say that. He did announce that he was the player who played in the Ready Action show match against a custom player, Shy, just last week. Shy was able to defeat him in a PvP, but that is completely unrelated to this match. Whoever wins this, by the way, will go on to face Pult, the teammate of Shine. So if Shine wins, the TSL player will advance to Code S either way.
Yeah, Coach Lee talked to us earlier already about it, and he really wants Shine to advance. Of course, this would guarantee one of the Code S one of the TSL players to advance to Code S. StarCraft, on the other hand, wow, look at him. He's ready. He's stretching. The map is really ready. Loading Metropolis, ladies and gentlemen. Shine against Ace. Yet GSL Code A. Let's go indeed, top right of the map. Our TSL Zerg, his teammate Pole was able to edge out a win today against Maru. And here we have the Zerg, one of the Zergs of the TSL team. It is in the red.
TSL Shine.
I want to note that his 8th drone was made very late. Almost as if he was considering going for a 7th pool. So he's got a slight disadvantage from the beginning here.
There's the new TSL keyboard, by the way, that you could just see all of the TSL players currently use it. And to the left side of the map, we have, in the blue, a StarTale player. This is
StarTale Ace.
If I'm not mistaken, Ace was doing that very same Warp Prism type play on this very map. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this map that he was doing that on. But he has shown all sorts of crazy, awesome play in the late game. I want to say that Ace is one of the inconsistent players of the GSL. He either looks really spot on or he does look a little bit weaker. He doesn't play always at the top level, and that's something I'm sure he's striving for right now, as every player tries to strive towards that consistent top level.
He's not as stable as other players, this is definitely true. But he has shown that he has great micro and macro if he can showcase his A-game. And we will find out if he brought it to Korea today.
Yeah, he trains with the best, you know? He trains with Parting, he trains with Squirtle. He's even got Sase and Naniwa to work with as well at the house. There are, you know, I would say StarTale is almost like the Protoss team in the same way that Slayers is considered the Terran team and that TSL is considered the Zerg team. Like, you know, not that they're all Zergs or that they have the best, but they have a lot of them.
With the Xenix joining StarTale, things, of course, a little bit different now. They have some really good Zerg players that they can rely on. But it's also about the training partners. Against Zerg, maybe Ace not in the best situation.
And Ace, you're right, Ace does have a fewer, he's basically got Curious and July as the best players for him to work with. He's got King Kong, for example, as well, but...
You can't really train with July. He has just this specific style, and this is not really similar to what the TSL players usually do. Sometimes we see them stick to a layer tech and try to win with Mutalisk and Baneling on Roach, of course, sometimes. But in general, just the style that July uses is very, very unique. And I don't think that you want to train too much with him just because it will probably not fit what Shine is going to do today.
And July probably isn't training all that much these days anyways. I mean, that's not something that I can say objectively, but I think he probably is spending as much time with his family as he can before he goes to the military. Shine, by the way, did get forced to make a third base far away from home, all the way over there where the rocks have not even been touched yet. And on this map specifically, if you go for a fast gateway timing here, this can be really hard to defend that third base with.
What have we seen on this map by Protoss so far? We know that
a Warp Prism Immortal pushes, that's for sure.
Exactly, a Warp Prism Immortal push. This is the one style that has been showcased on this map over and over again. This was basically the map where he kind of developed. But we also saw out of a player like Ace, great play with Warp Prism and of course Sentries. Ace is actually the player who would go for a Blink Stalker build with the Robotics, get one Warp Prism and also a couple of Sentries in the Warp Prism, then posture around on the low ground at the natural, force the Zerg player to defend, suddenly blink up onto the high ground, force field the ramp, go for the main base. We've seen other styles, like JYP uses it with the Stargate opening. There's just a lot of all-ins on two bases that Protoss players will use on Metropolis in order to take down a Zerg, and so many of them are really successful. So Shine has to scout well. He has the Overlords in position right now, but he has to know exactly what he's facing, because if he does not know and he's blindsided, he might lose the game in just the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes that can literally happen with the blink of a Stalker into your main base with Sentry drops. That type of play is really popular on this map. It always comes down to close by air positions. If you're close by air, as we do have Ace and Shine in this game, Processes are always very tempted to go for that Warp Prism play with the Sentry drop. That's not something that you see necessarily just because they're close by air positions, but it makes it a lot easier than it is on most maps. And the third base being as far away as it is just so important. It means reinforcements are further away, the creep is not connected between the bases. It's an unfortunate circumstance to have to play through. And oh, Ace actually could have gotten into the main base there, but did not. Was able to see the gas at the natural.
What baffles me a little bit is the Overlord placement for Shine, because thus far we don't see an Overlord to the left side. Now one of them is retreating, maybe trying to get into position. He's getting into the main base, but it's really important for him to position a few Overlords right to the left so that he can see if there's a Warp Prism headed for his main base. He didn't do it so far. He's just going in with one of his Overlords and tries to see exactly what kind of tech his opponent is going to use. And there is the Templar Archive. This is already really interesting because, yes, there we have a Templar Archive and Robotics. This could very well be the exact strategy that we were mentioning earlier that he used on exactly this map. I think it was against Boom Boom. I'm not 100% sure. It was against the Zerg player, and he was able to win the game with one simple blink.
Yeah, that type of play is so scary. It's actually my favorite all-in of all time is when you see someone blink into the main base with those Stalkers, the force field goes down, and it's so technical. Everything has to be so right, and you have to execute your build perfectly. And then when you get in there, though, you win. And it's just like, it's like killing the Robotics before the Observer's out, or killing the Lair before it finishes morphing, you can't get Overseers with DTs or something. It's just like, boom, you win. That's it. And that's starting to look like something we may see here. He's getting +2. No blink just yet, and actually he's taking a third base.
Yeah, he has a lot of sentries here.
This is rare. This is not how this build is normally done. Normally when you take a third base, people are doing this with Colossi and Immortals at the very least, not with heavy sentries and getting late blink and +2 like this. I think this is definitely viable and this can work, but this is not common.
No, he has a lot of sentries here that he can use to defend, and he's getting Immortals as well that will help him to defend against Roaches. At the same time, the Blink upgrade has been started a little bit later than we suspected, but there it is. And another Overseer actually this time, heading for the main base of Ace and scouting. Let's see if he actually catches the Twilight Council. He's able to see the Robotics, and boom, the Overseer is gone. No, nothing. He knows not about The Twilight comes, but the Zerglings are trying to sneak in here. A little bit too late, though.
Wow, great micro. He just immediately goes back to killing those rocks. That was
what
actually...
Shine wants to confirm here, he wants to know if Ace cancels this expansion. It's not going to happen, but at this point, that is something that Shine really has to check out.
He has to.
That's why he walks in again.
You're so right, and that's why he's not really committing to a big attack either. This is a small amount of roaches.
We've seen a lot of plays where Protoss actually cancels the expansion and then goes for this huge attack, so Shine wants to be 100% sure that there is a third base, and well, Ace does not cancel it. He didn't, and therefore he will try to defend here.
And he's also forced 3 additional cannons with this small move out as well. Well, he takes a 4th, and this is a scout move, a pressure move. This move out by Shine is just good in every way. And now that he's like, alright, well you made these cannons, I can't attack you with 2 immortals with this small roach, I can't attack, but I'll kill these rocks and then go home, so I can attack you later. I really like the way he's doing this. He's getting passage glands now, getting that Overlord speed. His upgrades, though, are a little bit lacking, just now getting +1 Carapace, as +3 is on the way for Ace, and with Chrono Boost, that's not going to take very long.
Ace didn't waste any time with these upgrades. He started with a +2 immediately, and a +3 follows suit. While we have now Shiner with a huge amount of drones. He just built 12 additional drones. He's now up at 87 against 64. His creep spread is actually a little bit uncharacteristic today. Usually he's like really crazy about his speed, creep spread. And we've seen that a lot of Zerg players will neglect creep a little bit in the matchup against Protoss. It's much more important when you're facing a Terranal player. This is when Zergs go really nuts. And now we have him with not only the Infestation Pit and the Infestors, but he's also going straight for the Spire and for the Hive Tech. He wants to have those Broodlords out later on. And it's pretty safe what he plays here. He has to be careful though, because Ace has a pretty scary army. He's at 68 army supply.
And he knows about everything. He continues to send 2 Phoenixes hallucinated down both paths in the middle, then verges them into the main bases and the hatcheries that might be hidden. So he checks for expansions, move-outs, roaches, hive timings, infestors. He gets everything with these scouts just by using a little bit of sentry energy, and this puts him completely in a no. He gets a robotic support bay after scouting that infestors, making a second robotics facility though, and the Greater Spire tech is on the way, so it begs the question, did he actually see that Greater Spire, or rather the regular Spire? No, he did not, so he does not expect this.
Well, I guess he will. On this map, what you usually... Ultralisks are very rare against Protoss. There are a couple of maps where you can try to pull them off, but actually Ultralisks suck against Protoss.
Usually it's more so you get in a situation where Ultralisks are appropriate, which is rare. But in most maps, even if it's a good map for Ultra as well, I don't know if it's really a good map for
on
Ultras.
Entombed, and I don't think I've seen a Zerg win with Ultralisks on Entombed. Some of them tried, but Stalkers are just great against this, and if you don't have the Fungals, then Ultralisks have no chance against Blink Stalkers. So usually you will see the Broodlords, and I think he has to assume there's a
Do you remember that game on Belshire Beach with Squirtle versus, I don't remember which Zerg it was specifically, but he was down to like 50 Spine versus Max?
Yeah, of course.
That goes Ultras, and then he just kills him.
Void Rays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, and he couldn't, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to free up supply to actually switch out Ultras.
That was pretty funny. That was a crazy game.
Oh man, that was sick. I remember that.
With the base trades at the end where they have a few Zerglings that actually try to sneak by. Yeah, but the base trades that we had, one base in the end was at the bottom left and the other one was to the top right. Completely uncharacteristic for the map and everything. That was really crazy.
That was so crazy. The Greater Spire is not done, and this is a great timing for Ace. This is almost kind of similar to the timing at Night End likes to hit sometimes with a ton of Stalkers and Colossi before the Greater Spire is done.
This is the timing that a lot of Protoss players try to hit these days, exactly before the Broodlords are out, and most Protoss players really struggle with Broodlords in this matchup. The answer for quite a long time was that you would try to go for the Mothership and the Archon Toilet, but nowadays Zergs try to figure out how they can deal with this, and we have seen no Parasites with Infestors, we've seen better splits with the Broodlords, so now Protoss just attack a little bit earlier.
Here we go, this attack, it is much too early for the Broodlords, 5 of them morphing right now. If he can hold on a little bit longer with some good Fungals here.
I'm not quite sure if these are actually enough Spine Crawlers to tell you the truth. That's only another 3 left. And here comes Ace, and he's moving in. He's actually blinking on the Icon, trying to get into a position to take down these Infestors, and without them, the Broodlord army would be doomed. He has to stop the blink of the Stalkers, but now suddenly new Colossi arriving at the scene of the crime, and he is doing so much damage. Shine is dropping, and he doesn't have too many Corruptors either.
Yeah, this is looking really bad. The next blink will be devastating if he decides to go for it. He's actually pulling back here. He forces a cancel on one of those Broods. 18 Stalkers left. Oh, this is just not a good position for Ace. Moves back, but he's got another base finishing up right now, and he doesn't actually have to kill Shine right now.
He has to go in again. I think he does. He needs to do some damage, and he has a chance now. He knows that most of the infestors are actually gone. He takes the Zerg Sabat, links in, and snipes one of the Broodlords. Immediately tries to get in touch with the rest of them, but they retreat immediately. And Shine now with 160 supply is still in good shape. And here comes another blink by Ace, and he takes down those Broodlords. They're just currently morphing. Still 4 Colossi alive with so much damage against the Broodlings and the Spinecrawler. Ace needs another round of Warpins though.
Yeah,
and there it is.
There he is, 8 more Stalkers. He needs another attack wave, and now it is here. It has arrived, +2 armor on the way for Ace. He's at 3-1 right now, and he is going into the natural. He's going to start cutting into the production of Shine. Great positioning on these Broodlords, but the Colossi really protect these Stalkers against almost anything. There's a lot of Banelings in the mix, and a few more Infestors come and join the play. If he gets a good fungal here,
Shine playing this very cautious at this point. He's always trying to have his Broodlords in a good position. Ace now with one of his War Prisms headed straight for the 4th base of his opponent. And Shine is forced to walk to the right in order to defend this. And here comes the blink.
Broodlords are
Finally good position for Ace. But the Banelings, the blink is done. He's in cooldown. And he loses too many Stalkers. The force fields. Oh my god. Shine now is able to force Ace back. Those Banelings were too much.
Yeah, and the Zealots that he warped on the right side that forced him out of position were all cleaned up by Spinecrawlers. He wasn't able to do very much damage to them. This attack is not over yet, though. Zerglings are dying as he does occupy the ramp with the Colossi. And he's starting to get into the natural, taking out drones. Gets that Infestor, but a fungal goes off.
Only 3 Broodlords are left. That's all that Shine has here. And Ace, is he blinking in again? The fungal hits home, and there's the blink. Another Broodlord dies. Both of those Infestors are blindsided by the 2 Colossi that just arrived. They're taken down, and so is Shine with 115 supply. He tries to make it happen, but GG.
Ace takes game 1 on Metropolis.
Well played by Ace here. And Shine with a great defense.
Yeah.
So very cautious, especially with his Broodlord's positioning. And this one blink by Ace. Really, it looked for a second like this could win Shine the game. When the Banelings rolled in and the Stalkers went cooldown, I was worried for him. But here, great game.
I felt like, you know, the timing of Ace was really the problem. It wasn't about poor control or any bad decision by his opponent. It was just Ace hit with this fast timing. His Broodlords weren't ready. He had a lot of spines, but Ace attacked at the location where the spines were the weakest. He had so many more spines on the right side, and he couldn't really relocate them. And as the Infestors fell, he just kept getting closer and closer. And we saw that last blink that killed the Broodlords, the last 3 Broodlords. I mean, if he had hit a fungal there, he would have been able to buy a little bit more time. Not necessarily would have won the game, but there's just little things that he almost got off that he did not, that allowed Ace to win this game. The second map is going to be on Antigua.
Yeah, map number 2 is going to be Antigua indeed. And Shine, what is he going to do here? Ace already in the lobby. We're currently waiting for the Zerg player for the TSL team. Ace seems to be pretty confident here. And he can. With a strategy that he played in game number 1, everything went quite well. It was a little bit close at the end, but in general, the idea that he had for this match, it turned out to be the right one. And he could best his young Zerg opponent. Let's see if he's able to edge out another win. Antigua, as mentioned before, is the map. Shine just joined the lobby, and I think we're ready to go here.
I'm ready to go. Shine's got to get his wits about him, though, after that loss. He played basically a perfect early to mid game. Ace with a unique timing with his 3rd base, kind of a weird composition, but his movements into his attacks that he started to execute, his timings were nice, his upgrades were solid, and Shine just struggled to deal with it. Even with enough Spinecrawlers, they weren't all together. He wasn't able to reposition them fast enough, and he should not be down after that loss. It was a tough loss to take. Ace's timing was really, really strong. And if he just calms down and gets focused here, as I'm sure he will in a few seconds if he hasn't already, he can take Ace out. He can take this second game.
He definitely has the skill to do it. But of course, our Protoss here, he has other plans. He wants to take the series with 2-0, advance the next round of Code A, and face Pold.
He wants to take on his teammate in that next round. This is important here. This is going to be potentially our deciding game. Ace, I wonder what kind of strategy he's going to use. Is he going to go for a 3rd base again and try to hit a time before Broodlords? Or will he play an even later game? Or Will he do a 2-base all in? The choice is his, man. He is up a game, and the ball is in his court now. We'll see how Shine responds on Antigua Shipyard. This is the GSL Code cast by Calder and Wolf.